Y'all, I just pulled this squash dressing out of the oven. It smells delightful in here. If y'all stay with me, we'll make it together. But first we got to go out to the garden and pick them. So y'all come on. Y'all see that sun setting on us? Isn't it beautiful this evening? This is when I come out and check on the garden. Look at that basil growing. Isn't that beautiful? We really need to pick squash, and we'll make a squash casserole or some squash dressing. There's so many squash recipes to make. I just love to saute it for lunch some. So, let me get out here with y'all. Get in here. This is what I love to pick too because it's actually starting to cool back down. Y'all know what I mean? Ooh, it's hot. Today's the first day of summer here, and squash is always the first thing to get ready in my garden. And another thing I want to tell y'all how I pick squash is I actually snip it off the vine because they're attached pretty well, and if you pull it, sometimes you pull the whole little plant up, or sometimes you pull some of the other little blooms around it off. So I always just snip it to make sure I only get that. I want to show y'all. You can see he's got lots and lots of other little blooms. Do you know you can eat these little flowers in salads? I would do that if I was having a fancy dinner party or something, but not. I don't think John Murray would go too much for some squash flowers. Do y'all? Me either. And the lighter the color of the little squash, the better it is, the more tender. He's really little, but here in a couple of days, he'll be too big, okay? 2 days ago, I saw I needed to pick. Day before yesterday, see, he's too big. He's gotten too yellow and too big. I'm going to take him in. I can use him for seed next year. But that's why I went on and picked that little fella, and he's going to be scrumptious anyway. So today, I think I'm going to make squash dressing with y'all, or here in the next couple of days, and bake a roast in the oven. Very easy little meal, and so very good. Okay, guys, let's go to the kitchen. Hey, y'all. I just came in with this fabulous squash. I washed it really good, and I've got it draining and dripping everywhere. And I want to make something, and I know I tell y'all all the time, some of the best cookbooks are church cookbooks, truly. And I had this growing up. This is my childhood church cookbook, Cypress Street Church of God. And Miss Pat Eads, she is a sweet soul. She still goes there, and she's one of the happiest, friendliest people I've ever met in my entire life. And she has a squash dressing recipe in here, and I want to share it with y'all because it is yummy, yummy, and it is so very easy, but full of flavor. And the first thing we need to do is mix up a cornbread that we're going to bake in the oven to put in our dressing. This one is a Mexican style cornbread, so it's got a little more flavor in it, and you just do it according to package directions. If you can't find the Mexican style, then of course you could use some of that Jiffy cornbread or box or that little packaged regular cornbread. Of course, and it calls for 2/3 cup of milk and 1 egg. So let me do that. The oven is on 425 degrees. I think I got a shell in there. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Very good. And you just bake this according to package directions. So that's easy enough. And you know, if you had some leftover cornbread, yes, you certainly could use that. And I even see cornbread in the stores pre-made for us. If you needed to make this in a quick, mad dash hurry, you could pre-buy that already made cornbread. All right, y'all. I greased a little 8x8 casserole dish. I've had this casserole dish, it's Corningware, forever. From my first marriage, okay? That was like 1 million years ago. So, it's been a while. I'm going to slip this in the oven until it's done. I think maybe 7-8 minutes, like literally under 10. So I'll be right back. Y'all won't go anywhere. There we have it, just that easy. And now we need to get to chopping on this squash. Now excuse my oven, I opened it so it's fussing, saying, ooh, it had to reheat. And all I'm doing with this squash is slicing it in 1/4-inch thick slices, whatever. I've got a pot with water back here. I'm gonna move it up here now. And before I forget, I'm going to add some salt to that. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon measure, so I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt, because that's where we can really get that squash flavored well, is while we're cooking it really quick. We're going to cook it until it's nice and soft and put it in this dressing. I love squash any way I can get it. I love to fry it when we're frying fish outside. I'll batter it and fry it. I love during the week, I would just saute some in olive oil and butter with some salt and pepper on the stove in a little skillet and eat it for lunch. I love that. I love it boiled, stewed. I love squash casserole. Maybe we'll have time to make squash casserole as well. And y'all see what I'm doing. I'm just chopping the tip ends off of each one of them and then just chopping him up. He was so little. Y'all remember picking him? But he's tender. Oh, he's just so good. But if I leave him out there a day or two, he'll be too big to eat, okay? He'll get like some of these others that I picked. And that's what's good about this dressing, is that it'll kind of forgive you a little bit if you use some squash that's a little too big. So all I'm going to need is 2 cups of cooked squash. So I'm going to have plenty here, but whatever's left over, I can freeze and make a squash casserole another day. So I am not going to waste it. Or squash dressing, and that's what I love about this. This one's a little more special and so full of flavor, and it's got very few ingredients. So I can't wait to share this with y'all. And you know, summer has finally arrived. It's my favorite time of the year. And with that comes family gatherings and church socials and all sorts of things that we need to cook, backyard barbecues. So this is a great thing with anything you're going to need to do this year to cook. Any kind of potluck, this one will work. Yes, it will. I love it. Sometimes I've taken it to church. I just slice it thin. Oh, and I'll put the tip end in there. I think we're going to get him out. I want to tell y'all another thing. If you have zucchini, you also could do this with zucchini. It's delicious. You could mix zucchini, the green and this yellow squash together. I know they're all in the same family, aren't they? Yeah, but you could do the green and yellow together. Think how pretty that would be. So, just telling you that in case sometimes I grow zucchini and squash at the same time, and so then I'll have a garden and I'll have a few of each. Well, certainly you can do that, and I have as well, and it's going to be great. Okay, guys, I'm going to boil this over here till these are tender, and that's going to be maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. That's no biggie whatsoever. Let me do a little cleanup so y'all won't see my workstation getting too messy. And then I'm going to show you the rest of the ingredients. It's like nothing. Like nothing. It's so simple and easy. Okay, everything in here. Thank you. Alrighty, next, all we've got to do is saute. If you cannot find these bags of seasoning blend, you can chop you an onion and chop you some celery. It has red and green bell pepper and parsley. This is a 10-ounce bag. It's in the frozen section in the stores, and it's so handy. If this had been around when my boys were little, oh my goodness, it would have been a game changer. But it wasn't, but it is now, right? All right, y'all. I'm going to get a container over here. There we go, because I'm going to mix this whole dressing up in here when I get finished. so 1 stick of butter or 8 tablespoons or half a cup of butter. Mine's unsalted. I always buy unsalted, then I can control how much salt. But if all you have is salted, I'm sure that will work. I'm going to get this melting. And I'm going to put this over in here. And the only other thing we're going to need is a couple of eggs and a can of cream of chicken soup. And we're going to have a wonderful dressing. I'll see y'all over here. All right, y'all, my butter is just about melted in here. I'm going to show y'all what that looks like frozen. The only thing I can say about this, and I normally try to tell y'all, is every once in a while it have that outside layer of an onion on it. And this one does, so I can show y'all. I'll just pull that out. But hey, that's still a lot quicker than chopping all that ourselves, right? Yes, it is. So, we will take it. We'll work with that. Okay, now, I put a little salt in my squash, and I always like to tell y'all that we flavor or we season each layer so we don't come up short later, right? So I'm just going to do a pinch of salt, nothing major, and I love to put some pepper in here, and you certainly can skip this part if you don't want to do pepper. Do you know black pepper is an anti-inflammatory? We all need that, don't we? Yes, we do. I'm going to saute these till they're softened, and I'm going to get that cornbread out of the oven and get these softened, and I'm going to show y'all what I'm going to do when I get through with these. My potato masher. Where is it? There it is. Let's try to hide in my utensils. I'll use my potato masher. I'll drain these, and then I'll mash these really well, and I'll get 2 cups ready, and we'll get this dressing together and in that oven. I'm making tonight a roast to go with it. I'm going to bake a roast in the oven, so that's going to be really good with this squash dressing. But like I say, anything and everything. This is definitely a summer side, isn't it? Okay, y'all. Just that quickly, our cornbread is ready. Grabbing it out, and my oven was on 400 to cook this cornbread according to the package directions, but for our dressing we need it on 350 Fahrenheit. So let me do that before I forget. There we are, and my squash is nice and tender. I'm going to go drain it and mash it with that potato masher, and we're going to put this together. I simply just mash them while they're in the colander draining. So we have our sauteed veggies in our butter, and in goes our squash. That was 2 cups, but y'all see my cups were very generous. I love to be generous with that squash. Yes, I do. And we've got our can of cream of chicken soup going in. I need to get me a spatula because y'all know I do not like to waste. Look at all that extra if we didn't clean out this can. That is flavor. And listen, this is cream of chicken and it's a great flavor, but if you want to do something that's just vegetarian, you certainly could use cream of mushroom. That would be really good in here as well. It certainly would. This cornbread is still very, very hot. And that Mexican cornbread's going to give a great little flavor, isn't it? I'm just going to crumble it right in here and move along. Yes, I am. There we go. Going in here. Alright. The only other thing we need to bring it all together and let it rise while it bakes is 2 eggs. I'm going to crack them straight in here. 1, 2. These came fresh out of the nest this morning. Yes, they did. They sure did, guys. Okay, we're going to stir this together. I wish y'all could smell how good it smells already. This is one beautiful little casserole. Definitely wonderful to start our summer out with. Going into our greased baking dish. Mine's 11 by 7, which is a weird size, I know, but whatever size you want to use will be perfect. Yes, it will. Right in here. If it was Christmas time and you had this frozen, you could sprinkle some paprika on top. But I love the little red bell pepper in our seasoning blend because it looks festive. And I don't like to ice mine flat. I like to leave it up so some bits get toasted. You know what I mean? This is going to a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I will see y'all then. Ooh, I wish y'all could smell this. 30 minutes, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it looks delicious. Y'all want to see it up close? Yum. It's still bubbling, guys. We're going to let it cool a bit, and we are definitely going to taste it. Okay, y'all. I can't wait any longer. Can y'all let's get us a corner? A corner. Oh, my. I wish y'all really could smell it. I do. Here I come. Are y'all ready? It's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Here I come. Do you see all the flavor? Y'all, I want to take another bite. This tastes like my childhood, and I love it. Y'all know I hated squash when I was really little, but I went to a daycare. It was at her house named Miss McClure. It was in West Monroe. It was close to Highland School and Highland Baptist Church where I went to kindergarten. I went to kindergarten when there wasn't in public school yet here. And she would cook squash a lot. They had a garden out back, and she would cook squash a lot, and she would force feed whatever you didn't eat. You were going to eat it. And do you know, through the years, it made me love squash. Isn't that crazy? I know. So, anyway, my daddy came to pick me up late one time. My mama didn't get off work in time, and they called, and it was just one time. And he said she was sitting out back with me swinging on the swing, and she was drinking her a beer. And you know, if anybody has earned that, it would be a daycare worker, right? Yeah, and she had, it must have been no less than 30 of us, all different ages, in her house every single day. So bless her heart, Miss McClure. I'm sure she's not with us anymore, but yeah, she got me to liking squash. Y'all, I'll see y'all next time. We got to make some more summer sides, don't we? Thank you, Miss Pat Eads. Thank you so much for sharing this delightful little recipe. It is so full of flavor and so easy, and I love that. And I've got to tell y'all how sweet. I know y'all told y'all that she was sweet. If y'all are still with me, I'll tell y'all a story. She truly is. She's always smiling. I mean, always. And I've never seen her not smiling sincerely. So, I mean, it's amazing. And she was one of the ones in the church that helped to raise me. You know, when you go to church, you take all your little kids, they teach you, and you just come in so much contact. So it's so good because lots of people help raise your children. But she influenced me very well just with her positive spirit. And she still goes there to that childhood church I grew up going to. And she still smiles just as pretty. And one thing, I'm going to tell you how friendly she is. One year, and I forget who told me this, I think it was my grandmother, my mama Worsham, when she was still living. She said that Miss Pat was going on a trip, was in the airport, And she's so friendly and smiling so big and so full of joy that they flagged her and they pulled her to the side and searched all her luggage. They said nobody's in that good a mood all the time, but they were wrong, because yes, they are. Miss Pat is. So I'm really thankful to have had her in my life, and I'm thankful she shared this lovely little dressing recipe with us so we could all enjoy it and I could share it with y'all. I'll see y'all next time. One other thing I wanted to tell y'all, Miss Pat says that it freezes beautifully before cooking as well as after being cooked. So that is something else you could do and have in your freezer for a quick time, huh?